Hi guys from New York, from Consensus 2018. I will introduce you today to an extraordinary guy. You probably don't know him personally, but if I tell you the project he's responsible for, you will say, oh, haha, I know. So, CryptoKitties.
CryptoKitties,
right?
That's right.
This is Dieter Shirley. Dieter Shirley did to Ethereum what George Soros did to the pound, right? To the
That's
British
amazing.
pound.
I hadn't thought of it in those terms, but we did in fact make the Ethereum network hurt badly for a couple of weeks.
Exactly. So this is the guy who single-handedly congested Ethereum completely with his product. Right?
Well, to be clear, there was a whole team of us behind it, but yes, the CryptoKitties, it really exploded in a way that we weren't anticipating before we launched it, and the Ethereum network unfortunately took the brunt of that enthusiasm.
You probably know CryptoKitties. If not, can you explain it in short words?
Well, it's actually relatively simple. It's a game where you buy cats that are secured on the blockchain, and if you have two cats, you can breed them together. And each cat has a completely unique genome that represents its visual appearance, as well as some hidden genetics, so that you can have a notion of recessive genes. So you might not inherit a trait from your parents, but from your grandparents or great-grandparents. And so users are able to buy these cats. There's a trillion different possible combinations of these different traits, and you can try and breed to a specific combination that's appealing to you.
Okay, so for many people, CryptoKitties sounded or were seen as a stupid game of cats, like watching cats on YouTube, something like that. That is congesting the real network, the great network Ethereum. But it is actually a very serious stuff, and it wasn't like just a game. It wasn't accident that you created CryptoKitties, right?
Well, look, it's a game and it is designed for fun, but at the end of the day, right now, we need reasons for people who aren't technophiles, who aren't financial speculators, to come to and understand the meaning and value of blockchain and what secure decentralized computation can mean for them. And I mean, frankly, games is just a really low intimidation way of getting people to appreciate the value that this system can bring. Because I think until you've held an asset, a digital asset that belongs to you, that can't be taken away even by the creators of that asset, that control over that asset can't be managed by anyone but you, not even the creators of that asset. I think that's something that you have to feel to really understand. And so by doing that with something that's light and cute and appealing without being intimidating, was managed to bring a bunch of people into crypto that might not have come otherwise.
Okay, CryptoKitties demonstrated the power of non-fungible tokens, right? Could you explain to the viewers what non-fungible token is and what is so special about it in the crypto space or in the world?
Well, it's funny, we use the word non-fungible, but fungibility is actually the weirder concept. So in the real world, most things are unique, and one tree is different than another tree. But when we get into the digital world, or when we get into the economic world, we often talk about fungibility. So a dollar bill is fungible to another dollar bill. So you can literally go into a bank and hand them a dirty, smudged, old dollar bill, and they'll give you a fresh, clean new one. Try that with a t-shirt, right? So that's what fungibility means. And so when we're talking about money and shares, those things are typically fungible. But so the blockchain was focused on those things before we came along. And what CryptoKitties did is they said, look, like if you're going to own a thing, you want it to be different than everybody else's. And so even if two cats look the same, they have a different history. You can see what who their parents are, when they were born in the blockchain, and have a whole ancestry. And so each cat is completely unique, tracked individually, and that in financial terms means non-fungible. But to most people, that's just things. is, right? That's just the way the world works.
Right, exactly. This was also the aspect of blockchain that you were addressing during your panel, saying, you know, we are talking about features in the blockchain space, but people just don't care about features. They care about the experience. They care about the needs. And you brought this example of your wife having an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
So could you elaborate on that? Because I think it is the first time that I have heard of that, let's say, roadblock in the blockchain space, that it is something really that we need to address and to improve on in the crypto space, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, most people are going about their lives and they have a million things to worry about that aren't cryptocurrencies.
Exactly.
They
just don't by definition say, I need a blockchain or I need a cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
Right?
And so we need to, if we're going to make strides in the consumer world with any blockchain-based products, we really need to find a way to make these things fit into people's lives. And the example I gave in my talk was the iPhone, right? Like, once a person has used an iPhone or any modern smartphones, you know, that use that same style of interface that the iPhone introduced, you just don't want to live without it anymore, because not because you think to yourself, I need to be connected to the internet at all time, but because you become used to being like, oh, well, when I'm bored, I can read Twitter. When I want to interact with my friends, I can share Instagram. And I think that we need to get to that point where we're driven by the precise value that we can create for consumers without putting a bunch of stuff in the middle that's confusing or complicated. I know that.
Thanks for your time.
Short, so.
Wonderful interview. Have fun here at the conference. I wish you success and of course all your projects.
All right.
But I'm not worried about your ability to perform in that space. Really.
All right.
Thanks so much. See you guys from New York. I can see you like this video. If yes, give me a thumb up, subscribe below, and don't forget to hit the bell button in order not to miss my other videos. I encourage you to leave comments what you think about the topics we were talking about. What is your experience? What is your perspective? I invite you also to share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. One day they will thank you for that. And I promised competition at the beginning of this video. Let's do the following. Take a quote from this video and share it on your social media, on your Twitter, on your Facebook, or share it with your comment to this video. And when sharing, don't forget to add your Byteball address and also the tag #the $1 billion secret. We will monitor social media, and among the best shares, the most creative shares, the most effective shares, I will give away some Byteball bites. So if you like this video, you will probably like my other videos. Here you will find some of my best films. That's it from New York today. I wish you a fantastic day. Let's do something extraordinary today.